All right, we're in Commack, New York today, where the homeowner has engaged in a mold assessment, and that mold assessor has told her that there's possible mold behind her kitchen cabinets as well as in the airspace. They tested several areas, and we're here today. We're going to start with prepping. That means getting all the containments up, protective plastics throughout the kitchen, as well as the basement where we have work as well. Once those areas are done, we actually even have some work in the attic that we'll get to in a couple of days once these areas are done. So if you want to come in here, and we'll show you what's going on. This is where we got to get some cabinetry out. So we're going to have to prep everything in the area. That means covering everything with paper and plastic to make sure it's protected. This cabinet actually has visible mold growth up in here. If you see up on the door right there, there's all mold, and we believe this is being caused. If you come even behind me over here too, and you get a sec, it's all up inside there on the side wall, and we believe that this exposed vent on the outside of the house is allowing moisture to come in and cause this mold growth. So once we get this cabinet off, we'll see what's happening behind it, because that's where that vent is outside that's not protected.
Got the coffee.
The smoothie.
Gotta have the smoothie.
Yep. We're doing what's called a triple flap entry, whereas from the other side, they'll just lift the flap entry to enter into here. Being that this is a kitchen, I know there's work being done here, but we still have to be realistic, and these homeowners are probably going to need their kitchen. Get to the fridge at some point later to get a drink or a snack, or maybe even make a small meal. I know we're working on one side, but again, in a lot of situations, we have to think realistically, and sometimes they make people vacate the house. In that case, you know, now we got no kitchen. Now we're talking about where is this family going to eat. So I always feel that yes, we are working in here. We are going to keep it clean for them, so they can't come in till the end of the day, but we'll make sure everything is under wraps and they can use the kitchen later. We got to live in a realistic world. We can't keep these people from their kitchen, so we'll make sure they can get in here when they need to. Somebody had a friend's birthday, Central Perk. My son would love this. He loves Friends. So once we're done with demo and cleaning of the room, these types of plastic coverings can come down, but the doorway containments are going to stay in place until the mold inspector returns and does his post-clearance inspection. He's going to want to see those up, and the room's protected, and we can't really do air testing in here if we have influence from other rooms. So we want to focus on testing this area specifically to get it cleared properly. No moving blanket, so we'll just use a drop cloth. We just got this van a couple of days ago. We're going to get it wrapped to match the other one. It's tough when you're trying to save cabinets and countertops and stuff, because you have to remove them with the intent to save them. So it could just be such a long, tedious process, and what I usually like to call, we got to finagle it. So you can spend a lot of time finagling and wiggling and wobbling and shaking and prying to get these things off without breaking them. So it can become a little tedious and annoying, but that's what you got to do if you don't want to break shit, because then if you break it, now you're going to buy it. What this is a HEPA air filtration unit, and we use them on every single job, whether it be demo or cleaning. And what this does is clean and keep the air clean by filtering it through first a pre-filter, and then inside the unit there's a main HEPA filter, and then that clean air comes out this way. And this is going to help capture dust, spores, and other debris that are in the air. And then once all that dirty stuff is captured in this filter, when we're in the cleaning phase, we'll actually take and change that filter, clean the machine down, so that this way it's ready when the post-inspection happens. And so we've popped the trim here next to the cabinets, and as you can see, I've already found some visible mold growth. on the bottom of the wall here. So this wall is going to have to get cut out, and that'll allow us further investigation to what's going on behind the cabinets. I can see that's annoying because the sheetrock goes behind the tile. That's James's favorite. Come on! Come on, camera guy! I keep calling you camera guy. We have to get as much stuff of this off of this floor so we can get this floor up. So I figured in the meantime we can put everything neatly over there. I gotta just check with her. If you see her, let me know. She said we can move that TV somewhere. So we'll find out. What? What do you want? What is it you want? Are you going to help us remove the mold here? We need your help. Yes. Mold. All right, so while there is minimal visible mold growth in this basement, the mold inspector did do an air test down here, and it revealed several species of mold with high spore counts. So what the mold inspector put in his remediation plan is for us to manipulate the contents, get them covered, set up the HEPA air filtration machines, and get this entire floor system removed from here. And then once the floor is gone, we're then going to clean the entire wood open beam ceiling, all the concrete walls, and all the other remaining structure down here with HEPA vacuuming and damp wiping so that we can pass that post-clearance air testing.
Yes.
Go towards the guitar. Keep going.
Not a guitar. Ah.
That's a cello.
Okay. I'm just making sure. I know you're a music guy.
No.
I know you know.
I don't know if that's a cello. I think it is. Yes, I know.
This is moldy right here?
I wouldn't say it's mold only because technically, I guess you would have to say you would have to get it tested first. But in my experience, I would say that's like definitely mold or mold on top of it, or you know what I mean? There's definitely spores in there, absolutely.
We got mold.
Oh man, look at that. I believe the mold inspector was correct when he said to remove this floor because as you can see, this floor is funkadelic. It stinks and it definitely has mold. You could see all the discoloration here. Probably a few different types of mold here. It's black, it's ugly, it stinks, and you could attest to that because you just put a mask on. It's smelly, and that's what happens with vinyl flooring on a concrete slab. The concrete slab naturally gets moist. It's the earth. So on humid days, that slab gets moist, and then over time, you get mold on the floor. It's just inevitable. This has no vapor barrier either. It's just a floor straight on. So if you are going to attempt to put some type of floor and it doesn't have a built-in vapor barrier, you better put a vapor barrier down or you're going to have a problem. You just can't keep it dry. So you want a vapor barrier, then the floor, and then your dehumidifier, and that's all going to help prevent stuff like this. This is just really bad and really stinky. I got to get my mask on too. Thanks a lot. A lot of times when I'm talking about things that we're doing, I do risk my health. And that's something to keep in mind for anybody out there watching. Always protect yourself. If you can get a respirator, a full face or a half face, that would be ideal when working in this type of situation. Again, I do know that I am putting my health at risk when I don't wear my respirator. So make sure you always wear yours. It's Moldy Monday. So this here is one of my newer machines, a HEPA 700 made by Dry Ease. This is 700 CFMs, circumferences per minute. That's how powerful it is. And we're going to set up 2 of these down in the basement. It's got a pre-filter to capture any dust, debris, and particulate. And it also has a main HEPA filter. Very important tool to have. Rocky, what are you doing? You're not going to run away on me, are you? All right, come on. Now that we've got the floor removed, and unfortunately no pod to move the stuff into, we now have to clean this entire area top to bottom before we can move that stuff over to here and remove the rest of the floor. So we're going to clean this entire side before we move anything over here.
The perfect creatures, mindless thoughts, dressed up in lies and fashion statements. These images, I can't take it.
Now that James and Jason have gotten the cabinetry down, the wall open here, the base of the cabinet open, and the wall behind over there, we can now get a more thorough look as to what's going on behind all this stuff. Is there mold growth behind there? Do we need to go further? Does the customer even want to go further? At the moment, just based on what the guys have told me, there doesn't seem to be a lot of mold here, which is a good sign. But again, I'll take a further look deeper and see if there's anything warranting the removal of the sink base. They got the mold inside the cabinet because if we have excess moisture buildup from behind here, it definitely could be a reason as to why that happened. Right, I think the big concern here might be the exterior sheathing, because I know they have a sprinkler behind here that's been hitting the sheathing from the outside over time. And as you see here, we have what looks like visible mold and water damage staining. There's even water damage staining here in this wall. While the sheetrock may not be bad, this plywood sheathing may very well need to be changed out. We got the cleaning supplies. This way we can get in there and start wiping all the surfaces down before we disinfect everything. It's got to be clean. It's got to be clean, Bean. It's cold. We got to go. Camera's going to get cold. So James just brought in the Festool HEPA vacuum, and this is how we begin every cleanup. Is we get the vacuum out, we use a brush attachment, and we clean all the organic matter and dirt off of all the surfaces prior to wiping it down. So the HEPA vacuum is a tool we just use repeatedly throughout the job. There's a term in the industry, it's actually called a HEPA sandwich, and that means you HEPA vacuum first, you wipe everything down, and then you vacuum again. But I always say we do more of a HEPA hero instead of a sandwich because we just vacuum so much. We don't just do it twice. We're vacuuming, but we basically vacuum our way out the door every job. So the HEPA vacuum is, I would say, the most important tool on our mold remediation job.
All right,